Hi students, this is the first help video that I'm providing just to give you a sense of my expectations, how I would recommend approaching the different assignments of the course. We're going to begin with the journal. We're going to begin with probably the most elementary assignment of all. Now, as I explained in the welcome video, these assignments are really just designed so that you can develop a relationship with me, I can develop a relationship with you. You can kind of give me a sense of how the course is going for you, and how any external pressures you're facing in completing the work, any challenges that you are experiencing. And so when we click in here, you find that it's two questions kind of about what you're finding interesting or enjoyable about the course, what you're finding challenging, why you're finding it challenging. So it's really just asking you more than anything else to engage with the question. You don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but yeah, I encourage you to be thoughtful about it and to take the questions seriously. If we go over here, you can click on the rubric. Again, it's a pretty simple rubric. I want to see that you're thoughtfully engaged in the questions. If you're posting one sentence answers, you're probably going to more like get half credit rather than full credit. So full, complete, thoughtful answers, that's all that I'm looking for here. Okay, let's go back to the module 3. And we'll talk a little bit about the discussion. So we have a discussion board every week. The way you access this is that you click on the link to the discussion board here, scroll down to find your discussion board. Just look at the week 2 one for the moment. Scroll down to find your discussion board. Click into that. And you can see that you have the source that you need to read is right here. So you want to go through and read that. At the end of each source, there is a set of study questions. And you can see from the instructions here that you'll answer 2 of those questions. Thoughtful, in-depth responses to those questions, and then at some point during the week you'll also make 2 comments on other students' posts. Now let's again look at the grading information for this assignment, because this is where a lot of people struggle, or a lot of people can struggle. So again, I'm going to go over here, going to find the rubric. Okay. Timeliness. Timeliness is where a lot of people fall down and lose marks on discussion boards. And a lot of the times it's because they leave everything until the last minute. Notice that this is what sees discussion posts graded down. Particularly the initial post needs to be several days before the discussion board is due. So this isn't something that everyone should kind of just cram in at once in the last half hour before midnight, the day before this is due. No, this is something that should probably be done, should probably be posted on Wednesday. Wednesday or Thursday if you want to get full credit for the discussion. That's when you should be putting your initial post up. So make sure you keep an eye on that suggested schedule for this in particular. These 2 points every week can really rack up if you're leaving it to the last minute every time. So be ahead of time, be early in the week, especially with your initial post. Comments can kind of come later on. The other aspects of the grading rubric are relatively straightforward. Make sure you use readings and resources. If you want full credit, make sure you use a direct quotation from the source. Context. Make sure you're connecting what you're talking about to the other content of the week. The reason that we do these discussion boards is so that you can interact directly with the thoughts and sentiments of people at the time. But to help you understand them, we also have kind of a broader narrative where we have the textbook and we have the PowerPoint. So try and connect the 2 to gain full credit in the context category. Stylistics, make sure you are proofreading your posts before you put them up. Nothing says that the student doesn't care, hasn't put any effort into this, than several careless grammatical or spelling errors. So try very hard to avoid those. And then lastly, commenting. Sometimes some students, some otherwise really good students, make their post early in the week, get a good grade on timeliness, but then forget about commenting on other students' posts. And so then they will they'll lose points in those categories. So make sure that you don't forget to make at least 2 comments on posts of other students, and make sure that they're detailed comments. If I'm going to give you full credit for this section of the rubric, that means that your comments help build and develop the discussion. That said, oh, that's interesting that you said this. I saw this other part of the text that confirms what you said, or nuances what the poster before you said. So make sure they're detailed comments. One other thing that I'll just mention here is that sometimes there's a tendency to ignore a question that someone has asked on the thread before you. Please don't do that. Remember that we're participating in a discussion here. So if someone has asked a question on the thread and they're the person who posts before you, make sure you give an answer to that question as best you can before you move on to ask your own question or make your own comment. Okay, I hope this is helpful in understanding the discussion rubric and understanding the journal. And I'm going to come back, make another video, talk about writing assignments, talk about essays.